Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi, and you're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Tami Matheny. She's the owner of Refuse to Lose Coaching. She's an author and a speaker, and she's a member of the Jon Gordon Team. Welcome to the show, Tami.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been excited about this all day.
Likewise, it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where are you from?
I am originally from North Carolina, but I live in South Carolina now. I know most people say the Carolinas, but there is a big difference. But I'm a mental game coach. 80% of my business, I work with athletes, with teams, with parents of athletes to help them have a better, stronger mindset, mental game. But I do work a little bit with non-athletes as well. But I'm a firm believer that the mind can make a difference.
I love it. And you are also a tennis coach. Tell us a little bit more about your experience as a tennis coach.
Former tennis coach.
Love it.
So I got into coaching. My dad was a coach, but he said, "Do anything you want, honey, but never become a coach." So I ended up becoming a coach, which kind of for years I kept thinking I want to do something else besides coaching, but I was always scared to make that leap. And God will take care of things if you don't take care of them. I didn't. I was called in my athletic director's office and said, "We have to have budget cuts, so you can fire your assistant or you can fire yourself," which was a challenging thing thrown at me, but it allowed me to get into what I do, what I love the most. And I don't think I would have done that if somebody hadn't forced that on me.
Amen. Amen. That's right. And God always takes care of everything. So we need to give all of our battles to the Lord. Very powerful. Now, you have written several books, Tami. Talk to us about your books.
The Confident Athlete was the first one. And yes, the title is athlete, but the principles in the book can apply to anyone. I've had moms who are non-athletic say, "Oh my gosh, this book just, spoke to me directly." But the funny thing, was about the book was I always thought I wanted to be an author, but growing up, I made great grades except for writing. And I received my senior year in high school a big old F on a book report, and it said "too good to be yours." And so I let those circumstances define me that, okay, I can't write. And I gave up on that dream until I really got into the power of the mind and realizing that I had to overcome the circumstances. So I guess you could say selfishly, the first book was for me in showing I could write, that it's helped tons of people out there is wonderful and been a big blessing. But it gave me the confidence and courage to then put out the confidence journal to help everyone with their journey on confidence. And then This Is Good, which is my favorite story. It's my motto. It comes from an African folktale. And basically the gist is that nothing's good or bad till we decide it is. And finding that this is good allows us to overcome any obstacle in our way. So I shared that with a team that I was working with, and the book is about our journey, but the lessons that we learned and the skills we had to use to overcome adversities. So it's a personal book in that it was a personal story, but there's also some great techniques in the book. And last but not least is the Challenger Deep. It's a collection of parables, fables, lessons, short stories. I don't know if you're like me, but sitting in church or school, if the minister or preacher told me a story, I remembered it. If they just lectured, I might have been falling asleep or not paying attention. So I know the importance of storytelling. So I wanted to compile stories I use to share messages and then give readers, hey, this is how you can take it and apply it in life.
I love it. Now, tell us a little bit more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life.
I've been pretty blessed. I will have to say that. I think we all internalize that any time we're going through a challenge, it's the worst thing that could happen. Having to fire myself at that time was one of the greatest obstacles. losing a grandmother that I had considered a parent figure and was my kind of my soul person. Was very challenging watching her on her deathbed. I had a very close cousin who died very unexpectedly. So there's a lot of challenges. There's the injuries. There's, just like everyone else, dealing with COVID. And how do you pivot? And even though things aren't going your way, make something good of it. Find that this is good. So I've had probably the normal challenges that a lot of people do: the death of loved ones, challenges with jobs, as well as injuries and sickness.
That's right. Going back to what you said earlier, mindset is so important, especially when we're faced with challenges. Very powerful. Now, Tami, tell us a little bit more about your experience being a member of the Jon Gordon team.
It's been a blessing in so many ways. I didn't even recognize that it would or realize it would. I became a part of the team right before COVID. And so I didn't have the chance to really go out and do much of the work or, give the keynotes or workshops. But what happened was we had one of our leaders, Amy P. Kelly, started a weekly prayer group for anyone on the team that wanted to jump on. And that really became my saving grace during COVID. It allowed me to really develop a closer relationship than I had with God. Plus, going on this journey there was about 8 or 9 of us that consistently showed up. And we would start the day by sharing, hey, what's good? And then we would talk about what challenges that we can pray for you. And so it has nothing to do with Jon's material or nothing to do with financial gains or helping people, but it was the connections and having this community to walk through life with that has been the biggest gain of being a part of the team.
Amen. I love it. Very powerful. And a team is so important. Teamwork makes the dream work. And, yes,
Amen.
What is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Be true to your why. Know why you're doing something. And don't let short-term results sacrifice your why. And I see people do that every day. I have to keep a check on myself every day. And I really believe connect with your why. Don't just run it through your mind of this is why I'm doing something. Say it out loud to someone. Look yourself in the mirror and tell your why. And when you say it out loud, I think you connect on a deeper level and you remind yourself, this is why I'm doing it. I think our society gets caught up in results or what's not happening instead of why am I doing this? And I have to stay true to that purpose.
Wow. Very powerful. Be true to your why. So important. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, write that down. Be true to your why. Tami Matheny said it here today. Now, Tami, you spoke about your relationship with God. Let's circle back to that for a moment. What would you tell someone who's looking to build a relationship with him? Where can they start to build a relationship with God?
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask that. I can explain my experiences, and that's through other people and making sure. I've had such a roller coaster journey with my relationship with God. I grew up in a very religious family. We go to church, we do this, everything was structured. Then I kind of went off to college and was on my own. And I thought, I don't have that hour in the day to go to church, but I didn't realize it was bigger than that. And then luckily other people came into my life and I realized it's a relationship. And what I have found when I surround myself with other believers, other people that are actively, intentionally trying to create a stronger relationship, that's when I'm at my best. So I guess the answer would be make sure you surround yourself with like-minded people.
Amen. I love it. Now, Tami, where can the audience find you?
I'm all over social media. Facebook I was told that's the older people, but on Facebook, I have a This Is Good Facebook group just to help create that mindset every day. Parents in the mental game. It is for parents of athletes, but I've had parents of non-athletes tell me it really helps them have a better relationship with their child. And then on Twitter, at Tami Matheny. And Instagram is refuse2lose coaching.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Tami on all of her social media platforms and also her website, r2lc.com. And Tami, thank you again for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. I'm honored to be on it.